Hello everybody, this is Join here, and happy Halloween, or happy early Halloween. Now before I get started, I know I didn't upload a video in September, but after I worked my tail off on getting the Hatch Store episodes 1 to 4 on my channel, I felt like I needed a big break from uploading content. Sometimes you need some time to yourself, you know? Anyways, on to the topic of this year's Halloween special. I decided to do something different this time and write my own dinosaur ghost story. This story was inspired by the Night at the Museum movies and the intro to Ballad of Big Al. Now, fun fact, this idea was originally going to be the Halloween special of last year, 2020, but unfortunately some real life stuff got in the way and I wasn't able to get it done on time, so I had to find a very short alternative. But the good news, I decided that this year I'm going to bring this original idea back. During the making of this video, it was originally going to be me who would narrate the story. However, when I was talking to my friend Tristan about this Halloween special, he actually made an offer to me to narrate my story, and I went, hey, that's a great idea. So the narration was complete, the animatic images are complete, and now you're about to see the final product. I'm going to go ahead and step aside and let Tristan take over from here until the end of the story. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you all at the end of the video.
Greetings, I am Tristan Worth Curtis of Primeval Pack Studios, and I will be your narrator for this special video. I would like to give a special thanks to Joanna Raptor Girl for letting me have the honor to be part of this special video for the spookiest time of the year. Now then, it's time for something new for this channel. Tonight, I will narrate a story she has made for this video. Since we are kicking into horror, I suggest you turn off the lights if you're brave enough, and of course, wear headphones for the best experience. Done that already? Good. It means you are ready. Tonight, we tell the story of a museum night shift, ending with terror. Connor was once a night guard for the Natural History Museum in Chicago. It was only for 1 week before he was moved to the day shift. However, the last few nights for his night shift were the most terrifying for him, and it had nothing to do with criminals or anyone trying to start trouble. The first 3 nights went well. Then, one afternoon, Connor had the honor to meet a paleontologist by the name of Dr. Thomas. Dr. Thomas seemed to be a decent person. He even congratulated Connor on doing well with keeping the museum safe at night. After a little while of talking, Dr. Thomas gave Connor a gift, a fossil of an Allosaurus claw. And it was not just the claw itself, but the whole finger. Allosaurus has been Connor's favorite dinosaur, and receiving this gift was an amazing moment for him. But that's when things started to become intense for the 4th night. On the 4th night, Connor was doing his usual routine when suddenly the camera that showed the Allosaurus and the Stegosaurus made loud noises and static came on. This startled Connor, and he thought to himself, okay, is the camera kicking the bucket? Or is there something messing with it? No one else wasn't supposed to be in the museum at night except Connor. And prior to the camera cutting to static, there was nothing on the camera besides the Stegosaurus and the Allosaurus. After waiting a bit, the screen was still showing static. At this point, Connor decided to go down there and investigate. When he arrived, Connor looked up at the camera and the red light was still on. However, before he attempted to investigate the camera, he checked on the Allosaurus and the Stegosaurus, making sure nothing was wrong with them. The Stegosaurus specimen was untouched. It was a clear for him. However, when the Allosaurus was checked, everything was fine, except for one thing. One of its fingers was missing, making one of its hands look like a Tyrannosaurus hand. Seeing this got Connor nervous. he didn't catch on to the missing finger on the camera earlier due to the view of the claws being hidden. The finger was there during the first 3 nights, but on the 4th night, it was gone for some reason. As Connor stood there trying to catch on what's happening, suddenly, the lights in the room went out. It was almost pitch black in the room, so Connor turned on his flashlight. However, he soon heard the sounds of the other lights in the other rooms powering down as well. With what was happening, he knew that he was not alone anymore. Someone or something was in the museum with him. He searched the room that he was in, and there was no one in there. However, as soon as he was about to leave the room to do more investigating, Connor suddenly heard the sound of loud cracking. It sounded like rocks being broken apart. And the worst of it, it was coming from right behind him. The sound stopped abruptly as soon as he turned around and pointed his flashlight. What he saw made his heart drop, and his blood ran cold. The head of the Allosaurus specimen was turned and was facing the same direction Connor's in. Connor thought he was going crazy because this dinosaur was originally facing the Stegosaurus, but it now moved. He thought to himself, "What is going on here? That's not possible. This animal died millions of years ago. A dinosaur skeleton can't do that." Soon enough, a glowing orb-shaped light appeared, and it started to take shape. When it was done, it no longer glowed so brightly, but it was now in the shape of a large dinosaur. Connor soon realized for what he was facing. This was a spirit of an Allosaurus right in front of him. However, its eyes are red and the skin is mostly dark. Connor looked at the specimen and then looked back at the spirit. He knew, for one thing, this was the spirit of that same Allosaurus specimen. He backed away in fear, and soon enough, the dinosaur roared in rage at him, and it charged. Connor ran away from the angry dinosaur spirit as fast as he could. He was fast, but he knew that the animal was still catching up to him. He continued running away from the dinosaur while it continued to pursue him. As the Allosaur got closer, it lifted its head with its jaws wide open, about to swing at him like an axe. Then, Connor quickly jumped out of the way and hid behind random objects. The Allosaurus stopped, and it looked around in confusion. It lost him. Soon, Connor quickly and quietly made it back to the security room and locked the door behind him. He looked at the camera screens. They were all in static. As he was taking a breather, he then remembered something when he noticed that the specimen was missing its finger and before he was pursued. After some thinking, he soon realized something else. The gift that Dr. Thomas gave him was that exact finger. Connor thought to himself, "No way. This can't be true." He quickly sat there in front of the camera screens, and he checked for any previous footage where it showed the Allosaurus and the Stegosaurus. After some rewinding, Connor was able to find the footage that showed the time prior to him meeting Dr. Thomas. In the footage, there was no one there. But in 15 seconds, he spots Dr. Thomas walk up to the Allosaurus specimen and got down out of frame. Connor couldn't see him for a bit due to some objects hiding parts of the Allosaurus. However, when he saw Dr. Thomas get up, Connor saw him holding the Allosaur finger. This led Connor to ultimately realize what happened. Dr. Thomas was responsible for this whole mess. He somehow tore the finger off, and he would later on give that same finger to Connor as a gift. This strange act from the paleontologist disturbed the dinosaur from its eternal rest, and it now is awake and seeking vengeance. What kind of paleontologist would do something like that? Connor thought. He is angry that this happened. A good paleontologist would never do such a thing, especially in a museum. He's heard stories of some paleontologists who are unpleasant or disrespectful, but nothing like this. Connor then realized to his horror that he left the finger back at home. I'm dead, he thought. He then heard echoing stomping noises from behind the security door. He knew he's been found. The spirit soon phased itself through the door and started to make its way towards Connor. In a state of panic and desperation, Connor replayed the footage. The Allosaurus stopped and saw for what was going on in the footage. It spares Connor, but as the footage ends, the dinosaur lets out a loud roar again, this time in anguish, and then it disappears. All the security cameras returned back to normal, and the Allosaurus specimen somehow returned to its original fighting position. The staff of the museum was notified about the footage Connor saw on the camera, and Dr. Thomas was confronted about it. But he only had this to say. It's only bones. They're dead anyway, so why would we give a darn about it? He was then fired, but it was unknown whether charges were going to be pressed or not. The staff forgot to ask Connor if he still had the Allosaurus finger at his house, and when he realized that, he knew what he had to do. When he was offered to be switched to the day shift, Connor accepted that offer, but he asked to finish his final night as a night guard. Soon, the final night came. Connor brought the Allosaurus finger from home and approached the same location. Just like before, the Allosaurus spirit appears, but this time, it was more docile. When Connor presented the finger to the Allosaurus, the flashlight suddenly turned off, and Connor felt the fossil disappear into thin air. When the flashlight was switched back on, the Allosaurus finger was reattached to the skeleton, and it looked like nothing ever happened with it. The Allosaur can now rest again, and soon it peacefully vanishes into the afterlife. It's been 2 years since the whole thing happened, and to this day, the museum has been peaceful. It also has better staffing, and new paleontologists who are more professional, unlike Dr. Thomas. Connor now works as a day shift guard and at the museum, and he's been very appreciated by everyone around him. He never told anyone for what he saw in those 2 nights, knowing that they would obviously think he is crazy. But he still never forgets it to this day. So, what have we all learned from this story? Well, the answer seems obvious by now. Never, and I mean never, disrespect the dead, even if they died millions of years ago. If you ever think of doing such a thing for what Dr. Thomas has done in this story, don't try it. You might end up getting karma on your back, or even worse. Well, you probably already know for what happened next. You may want to look up behind you. I warn you though, you might regret it instantly. Sweet dreams, everyone. And thank you for listening to this story. And happy Halloween.
We apologize for the technical difficulties there. Anyways, wonderful job, Tristan. Thank you so much for being part of this. This is my friend's first time narrating a story, and in my opinion, for someone doing this for the first time, he did a great job. So that is pretty much the end of my Halloween story. I want to thank my friend Tristan for joining in on this project, and also for being so patient with me after it got delayed last year due to stuff going on. I hope you guys have a great, happy Halloween. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe out there, and I'll see you all in another video.